Okay, Boop, the first word we have here is realistic. Realistic. And realistic comes from the word real, which means, you know, realistic. Something is real, like is realistic. I mean, if you have a make a statue of, like, say, granddaddy, and it looks really like him or whatever, you could say it's really realistic looking. That statue of my granddaddy, it looks kind of like him. It almost looks real. It's very realistic. Um, so that's how we're gonna use the word realistic. Let's see if I can give you a sentence on that. The statue of my grandfather was really realistic looking. I mean, it was real, like it was realistic. So if something is realistic, it's kind of real, like seems real, or it is something kind of real too. I mean, it's yeah. We'll stick with that definition. Now we come to the word resistance, which it comes from, which is a baby word from the main word, which means to resist. And to resist is to not allow something to go, is not allow something, to not allow something or to go against something. If you got a hard ass piece of metal and you try to bend it and it won't bend, it is resisting the force that you're using to try and bend it. If somebody wants you to do something that you don't want to do and you decide not to do, and you are resisting doing what they want you to do. If you're holding the door closed and somebody is trying to open it and you're holding it closed, you are resisting, stopping, putting a force against what they want, that door opening. The wind, the door resisted. Let's see if I can find you a better one. I was able to resist the bad thought to do something wrong. The window resisted the strong force of the wind and did not break. Okay, now we come to violence. That's doing something harmful to something, breaking it, damaging it, or whatever. A person can be violent. The wind can be violent, which is the same as the word violence. So, like if a lightning hit a tree and cracked that damn tree open, you can say the lightning, that was a violent act that the lightning did to break that tree. A terrible car accident, you could say it was a violent car accident and it ripped the cars up. If one person always wants to jump on and hurt somebody else, you could say that person is a violent person because he wants to do damage to somebody else. Or, so you don't have to just go with violence. You can use the definition for violent too, because it's pretty much the same thing. People can have violent thoughts, thoughts to hurt somebody, do physical damage or something against somebody. You can have thoughts to, like, chop somebody's foot off. That's a violent thought, So it is not good to be a violent person. It is better to be a peaceful person, is a good sentence. The wind, or there was a violent car accident on the news yesterday and people got hurt. There are two examples, two sentences you could write down as violent. Practically has more than one meaning. We will only deal with the one meaning of kind of like almost. Practically, well, we might deal with, actually, let's deal with the meaning of, like, practical. The word practically comes from the word practical. Practical is that which makes sense, to do something practical. It's something that seems right and it makes sense. Something that is not practical is going to be doing something that don't make sense. So If you want to cook some hamburger meat that's raw and you put it on a skillet, it is very practical that you would turn the fire on to heat it up and cook it. It is not practical to put it in there and don't turn the fire and expect that meat to cook. It's not practical. It doesn't make sense. It is practical to turn the fire on and then you can expect that the meat will be cooked because it will heat up. Let's see. It is practical to expect that if Dad pays David the money for rent, we will continue to be able to live in a house. It is not practical to think that if Dad does not pay David the money for rent, we will continue to be able to live in a house. Those are some definitions on practical. Okay, the word territory, territory, has to do with an area of land under the rule of the government or state or something, or just a specific land or place. That's one meaning of it. Territory could also be your personal space is your territory. If somebody walks too close to you and gets inside of your personal space, they are in your territory. You know, it's said that lions, they have a huge personal space, lions and wolves. Lions' personal space could be 2 miles around them. That's all their personal space. That's their territory. Any animal that they see within that territory is within their territory is a threat to them, and they will try and kill it. And because they always try to protect their territory, there are known to be territorial creatures. They're very territorial. Somebody that doesn't want you in their space, whether it's an animal or anything, is very territorial. Also, territory is the land in Texas is land. It's a territory. The territory of Texas, the land of Texas. Michigan, the land of Michigan is territory. The Michigan territory. Saginaw is territory or land within some of the land in Michigan. It's a territory. So that's the other way. It could be a certain land that people live on and they rule and have rulers and all that shit like that. So we live in the territory of the state of Texas is one sentence. The lion killed the coyote because the coyote was in the lion's territory. Okay, there we go.